You look nervous.
I feel nervous. I do feel nervous. You've caught me off guard there. 3D.
The world of 3D.
The world of 3D. 3D golf. I mean, what do you call him? Have you got a name for him?
Dave.
And someone's hit a golf ball into Dave. That is disappointing.
Poor old Dave used to be over there.
Oh, did he?
It was just balls were just getting ricocheted off the net into this. I thought, do you know what? I'll move him. But I love that they sent me this one. Like, probably should have a t-shirt on him or something, shouldn't I?
So we've got K-Vest. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is 3D. Well, it's 3D golf swing. We're going to break my swing down, 3D. Going to look inside, find out what is going on with my game, and see if there's anything that Ben can do to maybe help improve it.
Yeah, so we've got 4 little sensors that we're going to put on you.
Okay.
So we've got one for the pelvis, lead arm, and then upper body.
Right.
And then we've got one for your hands. So we're going to see pretty much everything that's going on in your golf swing, from side bends, how fast they're rotating and what order they're rotating, which is the really important thing.
This is something I've never done before. Me and Dave, well, we're going to get a little bit closer in just a minute. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go and check out Ben's channel as well. And let's get into it.
Just make sure this is all good. Nice and tight. Right. Don't stand up straight. Don't move, don't move, don't move. Right, let's do a dance. So this is you in 3D.
Dancing? I look better than I thought. No?
So this literally comes from the, like, if you see like Spider-Man flying through the screen, this is what this is. 3D motion capture. So let's hit some shots. I've purposely turned off TrackMan,
everything else,
just so that I don't want
any more distractions other than what we've got here. This is going to blow my mind, isn't it, all this? Because I don't even know where we're starting with the numbers. Do you think there's hope?
Definitely. There's hope for everyone.
Yeah.
It's just how much time you're willing to put into it. Right, so here was a couple of shots, right? But this is the really scary thing first, right? When you're talking about like the entire swing.
Yeah. Your
whole swing is 1.1 of a second, right? So you think that's 1 second, job's done.
Like your brain can't even think that fast, can it?
No,
like,
not really.
You think about all these different, like I see people on the range go boom, 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 boom. Like you can't think that fast.
You think it's a quarter of a swing on the downswing.
Yeah.
So that's your downswing, that's how fast your downswing is moving, right? So when people say, I've got like 3 or 4 swing thoughts going on, like where?
At what point are you thinking about that?
Exactly, yeah. But your backswing is slower, like most people, is slower than the downswing, right? So if you are going to make a change, it's a little bit easier on the way back.
Yeah.
And that's why we were saying earlier, like the more that you can practice slowly, because when you've got like a second to do it in, I mean, that's mad, isn't it? And if you think that's just one swing, and you're out there for 4 hours, actually the actual amount of time you're swinging a golf club is not a lot, is it?
No, not at all.
I think a par 4, you're on there in 2, it's 2 seconds. That's it. That's what everything that you've been working for on the driving range to get onto that first hole in 2.
So what sounds like a lot of 70 shots, 75 shots, 80 shots around is not a lot of seconds, is it?
It's not, and especially when you think there's putting involved in that, that's 40-odd%, isn't it? So actually playing golf, which is always quite funny when you think of somebody on a driving range battering 200 balls.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not what's going on here. So it depends, what we were talking earlier, like how you're trying to get the most out of your game. When we talk about speeds, this is where it's quite interesting, right? So this is how fast each segment, so we've got you kitted up with K-Motion, right? It's our 3D system, and these are basically little Bluetooth inertial sensors that are a bit like, imagine like Spider-Man in the films, like going through the screen, right? Or Gollum is a great example. We kit you out in these things, and it just gives us a real big insight into what your body is actually doing. TrackMan, all those, every single system that's picking up like a radar system, I always think they're amazing. Like if you're coaching without one of them, you're missing out massively. But I was trying to think of it a different way, as in, imagine trying to like measure the water temperature in a kettle by measuring the steam or measuring inside the kettle. TrackMan is measuring the end result, it's measuring impact, and it's measuring what's happening with the ball.
Yeah.
But actually this thing is looking inside the kettle, it's looking inside what your body is doing, and actually giving us some really nice detailed numbers of every move that your body's making. So how much bend, how much side bend, and how much rotation.
Yeah.
Now what we were doing with your lesson was obviously to get you into a better impact position.
Yeah.
So when we look at speeds, first of all, your speeds were moving at 350 degrees per second. Okay. Which sounds pretty fast. I hate to say it, that's about average for an amateur golfer.
Okay.
So we've got some work on our hip speed to do, but you shouldn't be unthought of with that, as in like, that's what we've been working on today.
Yeah.
I bet if we did that reading as we started, that would have been a lot less, but I expect that to go a lot higher. Okay. So let me just show you on a graph. Yeah, so I know graphs freak out a load of people, but actually it's a great way for me to see everything that's happening in your golf swing. So I can see at your address, the top of the swing, at impact, I can see every single thing that's going on in your golf swing. There's no hiding behind anything. Yeah. So although they freak out a lot of people, actually from my perspective, I don't miss anything. I can see a millisecond before and a millisecond after. This is what's known as a kinematic sequence graph, and basically it's rotation of speed. So we're trying to see how fast each of these segments is moving. Yeah. Right, and where K-Vest is really good is it breaks it down for us so we can see each of these segments that we've got you kitted out on. Yeah. Which start first, so the transition sequence, so that's the very top of the swing, which body part moves first. The best players in the world, the correct order is hips, upper body, lead arm, and then club. Yeah. We should see a nice 1, 2, 3, 4. How they then slow down is then the next segment. So the hips, they speed up first. If I show you the correct order, they're also the first things to slow down. Then the upper body, then the lead arm, and then the club. Unfortunately, mate, we're not quite there. Yeah. So we need to look at this in a second. And then we can see how fast they go. So if you think about this, from the average amateurs around 300 to 350 degrees per second, you're moving your hips at 342 degrees per second.
It's way below tour.
Way below tour range. Yeah. Way below tour range. And like we were saying before, like these are our strongest muscles. We want them doing the most. We want them to actually have that force. Yeah. If you then go through the numbers, you can see this is then lower. Upper body is a bit slower, which you'd expect if this is slower. Lead arm is a little bit faster. But the hands, look at the hands. You're at the top range, the top of the range of tour range, which is nice to see.
We've got something in there.
There's something in there. Unfortunately, the hands, as you know, they're not the most consistent of things, and if they're fighting against the upper body, we've got a problem. Yeah. So this is you trying, in a way, thinking of trying to correct it, trying to just add some speed in the shot. Yeah. And I always say this: if I was to slap you, we've had a good lesson today. I've punched you and I've slapped you. But if I was to slap you, and I went and I loaded into this right side, and I literally got my lower body to turn, my upper body, my arm, and then my hand, bang, that would really hurt. Yeah. If I went like that, and you measured how fast that moved, you'd probably laugh at me, one, from a slap, but actually it could be really quick. Yeah. But it doesn't mean it's powerful. It just means I've hit you with the weakest muscles that I've got as fast as I could. Yeah. And for you, your hands are trying to control the club face, not generate power. That should be an add-on extra. If this is all working correctly, if you're getting your speeds correctly with your upper body, the hands can then just come along for the ride and work on control. And if everything's working right, then that's fine to add a bit of extra power by unhinging and unhopcocking. Yeah. But actually, body movement comes first. Now, when you look at, if I just get up a graph, and like I said, I know graphs freak out a lot of people, and I was to compare it with a tour player, one, you can see how smooth all these lines are. Yeah. But two, this is the really interesting thing in when we use 3D technology, is it's not always about just accelerating, it's about how we slow down as well. Like putting on the brakes is a massive part of golf, and one that we don't really talk about as much. But if you were to look at this tour player here with their hips, they speed up, but this is impact here, but actually by the time they've come to impact, they've stopped. Yeah. They haven't moved, right? They've done their job. They've accelerated, they've stabilized, and they've slowed down. Yeah. Yours aren't. You can see yours here, they've sped up and then they just keep going. And basically the job doesn't feel like it's done yet. They haven't cleared out the way, they haven't stabilized correctly.
Yeah.
And that's because the next segment hasn't done its part, right? So the best way I can describe this, if I go back to these graphs, like I've got these 4, imagine these guys as a running race. I always think this is the best way to describe it. Because the biggest question I get asked is, why does the lower body, I guess, slow down? You've told me I want to speed up, but now on graph I've just seen a tour player like that stop.
Yeah.
You look at Rory Mcilroy. Rory moves his hips faster than anybody, but at Impact they've done it all. They've actually, you know, his graph is here. They've stopped. They've already done their job. So he's used his strongest muscles correctly. He's got out the way, and his next segment, the upper body, is then moves, and it's moved faster. So if I was to say it like this, right, let's say you had four people in a running race. Let's do a 100-meter race, right? And you got someone in a red shirt, a green shirt, blue shirt, and then the hands is orange. I want, as soon as that gun comes off, I want the lower body to fire first, right? It's the powerful muscles that they're leading out. They're the first thing that moves at the top of the swing, followed by the upper body, then the lead arm, and then the club. But in this race, you can cheat, right? And the idea is this, right? If the hips sped off, right? The upper body goes, well, I want to win this race. So it does something that we get as sports science, it looks very funny, but what happens is it grabs onto the lower body and it pulls it back, which does 2 things. 1, it propels the upper body forwards, so it gets more acceleration. Yeah. But 2, it slows the upper body down, lower body down. And that's why you get this kind of nice wave of energy, of almost thinking like a towel analogy, of whipping a towel. When you whip the towel, you don't whip the hands first, do you? The end result. It has to go through the body, and that's where this technology is just so good to kind of see. Then what happens is the upper lead arm goes, well, I want to go faster than the upper body, so it grabs onto the upper body, pulls that back, it propels forward. And if you do this in a nice wave of energy like you've just seen on the tour player one, not yours, sorry, that's when you can generate a lot of power. And then you can just work on the hands as a bit of control.
Okay. How do we move me then into this pull back, pull back, pull back?
So let me show you. So this is like a nice little twisting, spinning disc. Yeah. Right. But just to give you an understanding of why this happens, like if I was to stand on this disc and try and move everything together, right, that's really weird to do. Right? Yeah. Do you want to stand on it? Yeah. Right, and now try and get everything to kind of move, rotate around to the left. Shows how much you use the ground to do that, right? Going back to the body track perspective. Yeah. But now, if you were to cross your arms and move your upper body as fast as you can towards that way, where does your lower body go?
That way.
It goes the opposite way. In other words,
yeah, I'm trying to go that way and it's pulling me that way.
Yeah, and that's the mystery of this when you're actually studying it, right? Because now, as the upper body fires, which is what you've just done there, lower body slows down. Yeah. And actually that's when you get the brakes put on. Yeah. And this is one of the interesting things when it comes to studying golf, right? Is everyone is always trying to accelerate as fast as they can towards the target. Yeah. We were doing it today. We're not uncommon. This is the same with everyone. But actually, to look at golf a different way, your brakes are just as important, if not more important, than the accelerators. So what are the brakes? Let's think about it like the other side of the body. So like the governor of a car, right, let's say you were driving a car at 150 miles an hour, you would only take that car at 150 miles an hour, safe in the knowledge that the brakes work and you're going to stop. Correct. So the governor is not always the accelerator, the governor is, can you slow down? So you think of that in golfing terms. I remember hearing this, like in baseball, for example, they get a lot of injuries in baseball because they're letting go of the object. They're not slowing the object down. In golf, in tennis, you know, these types of sports, you don't let go of the implement. It stays in your hand. Yeah. So actually, as you speed up, governor is actually, I've got to stop this thing. I don't want my arm coming off. I don't want the club falling off. Yeah. So actually increasing our brakes, which is I like to think of it as our other side of our body, by doing things like left-handed swings, like explosive left-handed swings, by using speed sticks, by using all these types of things in the gym, you can actually improve your brakes so you can accelerate faster. Okay. I love the old punching bag drill. So where these are really handy is I actually get people to set up like this and actually get this feeling that I want you to hit the bag, but I want you to recoil back again. Okay, so it looks like this. Just going to hit and recoil back. In other words, I'm practicing stabilizing, getting that lower body to slow down and let my upper body actually then propel forward.
And that's that sense, almost that sensation of that. When you said to me about punch, feel like a punch.
Yeah.
That's that. Instantly feels like it's that. Like I'm punching.
Have you ever swung left-handed?
The other way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hit a ball left-handed?
Not straight.
It's quite good fun to do.
Learning. It's like learning golf again.
Yeah. But it's good fun. But when you look at some of the greats, like
like I'm left-handed in tennis and things. So
do you right left-handed?
No. But I kick a football left-footed and I play everything left.
Yeah, like Phil Mickelson is right-handed.
Yeah.
Plays like, you hear this in long drive all the time. Like the brakes, the governor is so strong for some of these long drive guys. And if you think about like you going to the driving range, you spend a lot of time just going one way.
Yeah, for sure.
And think of that, of this part of the body then just being absolutely knackered. And I think of a tennis player with like just one big arm sort of hitting. Yeah. Actually, you want a nice balanced body. So by training the opposite way, by increasing the brake power, you have then the ability to then go faster.
Interesting. And that you can do that on the range, just hitting balls the other way.
Yeah, just explosive left-handed swings. Yeah. So literally as fast as you can, left-handed. I do it a lot with the speed stick kind of drills, stuff. Like for turning a club upside down, holding the head. Yeah. Like they're great things to do in the winter, just so you're practicing like getting the whole body to just grow and get bigger and not just one side of it. Because for you, the brakes aren't working, and they're not working for two things. One, they might not be strong enough. Yeah. You never actually swung left-handed or trained that way. Or two, they're not firing fast enough. Okay. But as we were trying to do, we're trying to get lower body to work better, using the ground better, which in time would see those numbers increase anyway. But it's then important not to neglect the upper body. The upper body, like you've just proven on that spinning disc, as it fires, the other one goes the other way and it slows right down.
I want to hit another one now, just with that sensation of what we talked about earlier, just trying to get the feeling of really opening myself up as I come through, maybe using the ground just a little bit. And I just want to see what the measurements are going to be with that. Okay.
So hip speed's just gone up 356.
Not enough though, is it?
Hands have just come down.
Hands have come down.
Yes, so that's a 1742.
Okay, so that's a positive. So my hips are not firing quick enough, are they?
They can always do more.
Yeah. Okay. That's my hips moving quick.
And you can see it just jumped up to 369 degrees per second.
Yeah.
Hands have still moved fast.
Hands are moving too fast still?
Yes.
.376 hips?
Getting there.
I mean, that is... You're telling me that the tour player is at what did you say it was?
Yeah, 420 to 450. I think where it's exciting to see, like, and Rory Mcilroy apparently is at like 7. Absolutely, he moves his lower body faster than you're moving your upper body, which is just insane.
Amazing.
One of the reasons why he does as much work in the gym, just so his body can withstand all that power. Yeah. But actually, this is the transition sequence. Yeah. So this position here, and that's the very top of the swing. So where a lot of people get this wrong when they're starting with it is they've gone, well, I need to get my lower body to move first, but it's where it happens. And I think a lot of people think it's happening in a downswing. Yeah. It's not. It's happening as that club is changing direction. Yeah. the lower body's already gone out the way. It's already moved. Like if you're waiting to get to the top to fire your lower body, it's already too late.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that the golf swing downswing is 0.25 of a second, there isn't a lot of wiggle room in that. But you can see lower body is trying to slow down, isn't it?
Yeah, it's having moving in the right direction.
100%. It's just there's almost so much work we can do with this. But that's a great start to do. I would just do so many like left-handed swings, and I mean like explosive, fast as you can, like fall off your feet swings. Do some shots where you're on your knees, like actually swinging left and right-handed, just to really fire the whole body up, so it's in explosive mode as opposed to just going to turn this way nice and softly.
The great thing about this is those are drills and tips that I've never heard before. So they're things that, if you think about it from for me learning and getting my body to work in a different way, which is what we're trying to get it to do. I've got things to do now which I've never done before. Yeah. Which that can only help my body. That can only help my, the way in which I can work into these shots. Yeah,
massive. And like we were talking about, like one of the things that I find with so many faults or so many like perceived faults of like these chicken wings or the the scooping, all those kind of those moves, right? Most of the time they're because the body isn't moving in the right way. Right. So what you've done today is actually getting on the pressure plates to actually use your feet better to start the whole process, then to actually see how the body is moving in the actual swing, so the end result can be a better impact. As opposed to a lot of people work on just on the backswing, or they work on wrist angles, and don't get me wrong, like of course they're important, but if the body's not working correctly in the first place, actually they're the compensations that you need to have in your swing to play golf. Otherwise you're not playing golf. I've had so many people say, oh, I really don't like this chicken wing coming through, forgetting the fact that your body has literally stalled and your arms are then just taking over. Actually, if you got rid of that chicken wing and your body's still here, well, now you're just flatting it into the ground. Actually, that could have been the nice little thing to square the club face up.
To deal with it, manage it.
Yeah, 100%. So there's always like a plan of attack when you're working on body, and it's very much like not just going after the thing that doesn't look quite pretty on a 2D kind of camera. And that's the beauty of using 3D systems. You can just see inside the swing a bit more. I very rarely do I show many people these numbers. I just get them on the system, and the data's for me to assess and to give you the work with it. Yeah, you wouldn't go to a doctor's and ask to see the MRI scan, would you? You want the end result, and the end result to you is drills. Because actually that's you on a driving range. Like you could punch your way around a golf course better than you do a full swing. We've seen that on TrackMan, how fast you actually are. Because that's you using your body better. As opposed to trying to manipulate it into a way.
And feels so different.
Yeah, which I love. But hopefully it should feel different. If it doesn't feel different, then you're not doing anything different. Right. Yeah, 100%.
Well, Ben, some great numbers, some great things to think about. But as you quite rightly said right at the end there, if it doesn't feel different, it's not right. We're not moving it in the right direction.
You haven't changed anything.
We haven't changed anything, absolutely not. Well, I'd like to hear what you think about that video. Are you somebody interested in 3D golf swings? That was definitely an eye-opener for me. Never been on one of these before. Absolutely fantastic to see my golf swing broken down the way that Ben has broken it down for me, to give me hopefully some tips and things to move on and hopefully improve my golf. Obviously a big thank you to Ben. Don't forget to go and check Ben out. Go and check out his Instagram. Go and check out his YouTube channel. Lots going on over there. If you are new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you again very soon.